prisoners opened the cardboard box. Inside was a tiny little girl. She poked her head out. Everyone smiled. The girl looked around and found her father in the corner. The father shouted and crawled over to tightly hug his daughter. The daughter cried, while blaming him for suddenly disappearing. The mentally challenged father kept apologizing. They both cried harder and harder, and uncle couldn't sit still. He was afraid of being found and getting a longer sentence, so he went to report himself to the prison guard. The little girl begged him not to. Other prisoners also tried to stop him, but he still brought in the guard. The little girl ran to the cell door and crouched down. The guard came to the door but didn't see her. Just as the uncle was about to speak, the girl suddenly grabbed his hand. After a struggle, the uncle changed his words. The crisis was temporarily resolved. The girl hugged her father again. The inmates were amazed. A mentally challenged man could have such a lovely daughter. Then something unexpected happened. The prison visiting group left earlier than planned. The girl couldn't sneak out with them anymore. From then on, she was forced to stay in cell number 7. The mentally challenged father and his daughter were happy, but the other men were deeply worried. They didn't know how to hide her from the guards. But the girl also brought joy and laughter to cell number 7. The cold prison cell, because of the girl's presence, became full of sunshine. The once fierce uncles turned into loving father figures, and they spoiled her dearly. But the happy days did not last long. The captain started to investigate the case, found the original files, discovered the man's confession. Inside the prison, the man's inmates followed various clues and slowly uncovered the truth. The victim, a little girl. She accidentally slipped, fell backward, and hit the back of her head on the ground. She died by accident. The man's actions were actually trying to save the girl, but the victim was the police chief's daughter. Under pressure, the police needed to quickly close the case, so they created a huge wrongful conviction. Inside the prison, everyone was trying to reverse the verdict for the man. They specifically wrote a clear and organized testimony and helped him memorize it. They also invited all the prisoners to sign a petition. The man also worked very hard, staying up late to memorize the testimony. After much effort, he was finally able to speak the truth clearly, but the lawyer told the man if he didn't plead guilty, they would arrest his daughter. The next day, the man's face was bruised. He walked into court with a blank stare. He remembered his daughter telling him to explain clearly to the judge, but what happened yesterday made him hesitate. Now he only remembered he had to protect his daughter. As the judge dropped the gavel, the man also lost his final chance to appeal for justice. Inside the prison, everyone refused to let the man accept such a fate. They united all the prisoners in the entire prison and planned an escape. On a beautiful evening, they sent the man and his daughter into a hot air balloon, letting them fly away, carried by everyone's love. The captain smiled. Even the armed guard on the tower smiled and waved goodbye to them. If it were you, would you be willing to believe the man was innocent? Please comment.